Toast to the Sgt Major Stout, Airborne Messiah, Coors Light juice. Is that what it was?
Yeah, this is the Messiah juice. For those of you that may recall, uh, his blood is made up of 50% this and other things.
Oh, love it. Well, cheers. We're here with LZ. As
How y'all doing?
as I got as I got ready to do this, I picked out a song for us to listen to as we sat down and began. So this is New York
All right.
Girl.
There you go.
We're here, everybody, with Gunther, Lardizabal, LZ, having a good time, man. What's up, buddy?
Not much, brother, man. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, in a minute.
It has been a long time. Last
Yeah.
time I know I saw like a picture of you. You were on some kind of a cool publication on an aircraft, jumping or in a parachute. Do you remember that JMPI and something? But it's been forever since I've like talked to you live. I mean, it's got to be 2004, 2003, maybe even before
Yeah,
that.
I think it was even before that, man. Because I remember last time, I think it was right before '03, and we were at maybe even before that, because it was either in third or the fourth, or prior to that, where last time me and you were actually uh, same installation together. You know what I mean?
Man, that's forever ago, right?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely forever ago, and so many good times and so many memories. OCs together at JRTC for a while.
oh yeah.
Jumping out of airplanes, Charlie Battery, Cold Steel, prepared to move
Prepare to
forward.
move forward.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you located now?
Oh, I'm in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri right now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Oh yeah, it's
awesome.
about to be awesome. Summertime's coming, so everybody's gonna start showing up here in a little bit to go start the boating season out here.
Oh yeah. So we got Harris's was on for a minute at least. He said, "Look at those legends. Look at there. We
Ah,
got Dennis
ah.
Harris. Remember old Harris, man? He's
Oh
gonna,
yeah, me and Harris go way back. Yeah.
yeah, Cold Steel in the building." He says.
I was in Hawaii with Harris too, so me and him got a lot of history together.
Oh my gosh, I believe that he just retired, and or
Yeah, he certainly did. And he was, all those guys that we had back then, like Bond, Chartez, Wiley, Harris, and anybody a few. They all did really good things in the military
oh yeah.
after us. I was very proud to see those guys do what they did.
We were amongst a group of people that were just amazing all the way around, and
Oh yeah.
I'm proud to have been a part of it. So where are you from originally?
Oh well, uh, my father was a career Marine. He was a Vietnam veteran, all that stuff. Very proud of him. But because he was a career Marine, I grew up everywhere. I was born in Japan actually, and then moved all over the place with him. Camp Lejeune, San Diego, all those places. I'm sorry, Harris just that time, man. We kicked a lot of ass over there. But going back to my story, and then my dad retired in California. That's where I ended up joining the army.
Oh wow, so you were in California when you joined the army?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
most
all
definitely.
right. So like, why didn't you join the Marines?
Oh, actually, my dad told me not to. Like, nothing against the Marine Corps by any means, but this was back in early '90s, '91 before I joined. Because I actually ended up joining in '92, but it was they had more options for people joining than the Marine Corps did at
Oh
that time.
yeah, oh yeah, oh
So
yeah.
educational benefits, more places to go, more places to see. He was actually a lieutenant colonel when he retired out of the Marine Corps. So he was enlisted for a little bit, then went OCS afterwards, and then when he found out I was joining, because I was in school, I was running out of money, all that kind of stuff. He said, "Hey man, the Army's got a lot of options for you. Try that." So that's what I did.
Oh,
I,
that's awesome.
yeah, a little case in point though, he did tell me that if I didn't go airborne though, that he'd be very mad because he was like one of the few Marines that actually went to airborne school back in the day. So like he was a 5 jumper, but he was all right in my book.
Hey, look, there's something about the willingness to jump out of an airplane that says something about your minimum criteria as a soldier. Like, at a minimum, I'll jump out of an airplane for you, country. At a minimum.
Oh yeah,
And if you find somebody that'll jump out of a plane, man, that dude he'll do a lot. He'll do a
he'll
lot.
do a lot. General Gavin said it best, right? Show me a man who'll jump. I'll show you a
That's
man who'll
right.
fight, right? So
Amen, amen. Cheers to General Gavin, Jumping Jim.
yeah.
Those that came before us. Who was your drill sergeants and stuff when you came in? Do you remember that? Remember those names and those people?
I remember the people and some of the names escaped me because I'm old.
Right.
So it's then though, like something they had. Amazing how that sticks to you. Most of the guys that were still, like most of us were, and these guys were all stuff like that. They were crazy. And I remember, you may not have listened to my first call in the Army. The reason why is my drill sergeant, you know how they line you up and have battle plans? And I remember that. Like but actually my duty was 14, and so I basically IT to he actually showed up on a rotation and actually shot him, lasers out. And it's testament to his KIA. He returned to prison for a while. He was looking at me trying to figure because he remembered me from being.
Man, we lost him. He was having some bad signal. It was obvious. I'm so sorry. He was obviously right in the middle of a story and telling us about things, and man, we lost him. Man, I hope you can get back on soon. Want to take a minute since I've got you guys here and tell you about what's coming up. Let me share some things with you. Tomorrow night, it's going to be me and Hunter, and we're going to be live and in person, and we're going to be doing it on the front porch. And you can't miss Hunter, man. He is the self-proclaimed mayor of White Oak Shores, and he and I are going to be sitting on the front porch, and we're going to be talking about the legend of Cooter Brown. So if you know about being drunker than Cooter Brown, if you ever wondered about who Cooter Brown was, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, we're going to be talking with First Sergeant Cuffey. And I'm so excited about that. And I can't wait to talk to him. It'll be a great time. And I'm looking forward to it. I see LZ's back with us. And so we're going to get him squared away and get him up here on the screen so that we can do it. And then, on Thursday night, we'll be with First Sergeant Cuffey. And let's get back and see if we can't get to me and LZ. Where you at, buddy? What's going on? I don't have no camera. We got bad signal again, man. There we go. Come on. Oh, dadgummit. So he's in and out. We got problems. He's out there on the lake running around. He's probably on his jet ski right now, and or either pulling a big old catfish out of the lake. I'd like to share with you also our donors. We really, really, really appreciate our donors. It means a lot to us. We've added a basic donor, McKnight. Thank you so much for your donation. We appreciate it. Our senior donors, Newton, Diaz, Rum, Fernandez, Kirkendall, Allen. Our master rated donors, Williams, Jackman, Calderon, Hackey, Evans, Cobos, Wino, Ridgeway. Hackey, get with me. Reach out. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of my donors. We really, really, really appreciate it, Joe and I. And we're really trying to figure out what's valuable and how to spend our time together. And we've got LZ back, so we're going to get to him, and hopefully we can get things straight here. There we go. Our connection's looking better, man.
All right. Sometimes it's our building. Ooh, how's that? Is that better?
Yeah. Things are catching up. It looks like things are catching up. It looks like.
All right. I'm sorry.
So you were telling me about your times in basic and AIT and trying to remember some names, and some of it broke in and out. You were talking about a sergeant major, I believe, or a drill sergeant that became your teammate in some way.
Fort Chaffee in the 509th. I was out for over there, and he actually showed up about the month after I started on a augmentee type thing.
Okay.
And I ended up taking him prisoner, and I didn't realize it was him, but he kept staring at me, and I thought I did something wrong. And he's like, because he was in face paint and all that, and he was like, "Man, were you not just in my one of my drills, basic trainees not too long ago?" I'm like, "Probably. Like, where was it?" We went through it, and he remembered my name because of my nickname, like Lizard and everything. He's like,
right.
"Man, I can't believe I just got killed by one of my basic trainees at JRTC."
No
like, oh,
way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So what was it? So your first duty assignment was where?
Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. I was in 509th. I was out for at JRTC.
Oh, wow. That's got to be interesting to go to a unit like that for your first duty assignment, right?
Oh, it's very, very. You learn a lot there. That's all I'm going to say. You learn field craft, how to fight, like guerrilla warfare style stuff. You're constantly in the field. There's no tents or nothing like that. You hooch out all the time. You're always on the move. Being a stinger team, you're always on foot. So you learn how to cache rounds, hide better, get better shooting positions, all that kind of stuff. So it's a real learning experience for any soldier to go. I don't care what MOS you are, quite honestly.
Right. And so your job was an enemy stinger team, right? Didn't you try to go out and try to kill friendly aircraft, or what we would call, Blue 4 aircraft?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We go after anything that they brought with them, like your typical aviation package that came, the Black Hawk, Apache, whatever, that we would go after those guys all the time.
So I never really thought about that part of the game. Did y'all, did they let y'all have success? Were y'all able to go out and affect the battle?
Yeah. So, training environments change, they evolve. But back then, it was open game. Like, they certainly had rules that were imposed by the training commander and everything, but it was also you guys, as long as you don't get caught in the execution of whatever it is you're doing, game on, man. You can go after, do whatever you needed to do. So we came up with a lot of great ideas. Not me personally, but Op 4 and the guys that came before me. They ADA ambushes, all these other things, and you remember back then. Staff Sergeant Stout was an OC, and that's actually where I first met him once on an aircraft. He probably don't remember that, but it was a very long time. It's like we were on MIA HIP or something like that. And then, but one of his guys was Sergeant Hargrove. I don't know if you know that guy or not. Rayburn Hargrove. Yeah, he was my team chief. so we had all kinds of I had all kinds of people there that just were awesome, excellent teachers. I had people that could teach like a cockroach how to fly if we wanted to. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. It was pretty cool. You ever know a guy named Bobby Joe McCrary?
No.
No, yeah, he was. We had a guy named Kevin Turbin over there. These guys were all Op 4 Sergeant E5 level types. When I got there, they were like the best team chiefs in the world. So they were. It was really cool to learn there because you learned a lot there.
Yeah, so if you think about being all alone and unafraid in like Blue Fort territory, y'all were like really all alone and unafraid out in the
Oh
middle of
yeah,
no man's land, just trying to be little gorillas and given freedom
yeah.
to go wreck Blue Fort if you could do it.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you got to wake up the OC to let them know you're going to go blow something up.
Well, that is also true. Or bribe them, right?
Oh my gosh. So being a private in the 509th Geronimo, an airborne infantry battalion whose job it is to test new things and do things in preparation to prepare our own units, for war. I mean, that's a cool, heavy, wild place to start out
Yeah.
and you already like outlined how cool the people that you were around you were.
Oh yeah.
So where did you go next? Where did you become a sergeant? Was it
Oh,
there?
no, no. So, well, I want to throw one more thing out about that unit I was in too. My very first platoon sergeant in the active duty army was Gene Roland, Sergeant Major Roland now. But that was my first platoon sergeant. I'm going to tell you what a treat it was to be him as my first platoon sergeant in the army.
So you got it. Okay, so here you are, brand new private, and you're in the 509th, and Roland's the platoon sergeant.
Yes, he was our air defense platoon sergeant.
Oh wow. Okay, so tell everybody that's watching, tell them who Roland is. Tell them what,
Yeah.
explain the handshake, the stature, the legend of the punch. There's a punch supposedly he supposedly like knocked the wind out of some guy in Korea or something.
Well, yeah. So it was like a test punch, right? That's what I called it. And he would throw the punch to the chest. And if you didn't fall down or you didn't do anything bad, you probably like he'd be like, "You're all right," and then he'd walk off, and then you have to do whatever he said, which is like everybody else ever did, right? But I used to look at it like when I first met him, like he was sitting behind his desk, and like he's a very imposing individual anyway. But I'm only a private in the army. I'm meeting my first platoon sergeant, all this kind of stuff, so I'm trying to be all scrack. And he stands up, and he's a very tall person, which you can't tell when he's sitting down all the time. And I'm not very tall. I'm a little midget guy, a little hobbit. And he's looking down on me. And remember, if people may remember, he had this little gold cap tooth or whatever, and he would suck on that thing with his Copenhagen in it back when he dipped, and he just go like this and stare at you. And the longer he stared, the smaller you got, and it was crazy. I was like, oh god, like I'm in for it now. So, but it was great to have him as a platoon sergeant. I'm telling you, like all the crazy field stuff you learned, he would bring you back to reality, remind you that you were a soldier, that kind of stuff, and it was pretty awesome. So
That's the perfect mix right there, right?
oh
That's
yeah,
the perfect mix to have
mm-hmm.
him as your very first platoon sergeant
Oh yeah.
in that particular unit. So that is awesome. So tell me about becoming a sergeant. Where were you?
Oh yeah. So after we left, actually JRTC moved to Fort Polk, Louisiana,
Right.
and I was with the unit then, and we did some stuff with Second ECR to like help them train up to be because they were getting rid of the 88 platoon. So I ended up going to 108th Air Defense Brigade, which was down the street, and it was I ended up being assigned to 243, which was a Patriot unit. Excuse me, and their MTO had assigned Stinger teams now, kind of like the force protection asset for them. So I ended up going there, spent about 2 years there, trying to figure out my way because I still had a lot of time left on my contract, and then I ended up deploying to Saudi Arabia a couple of times with them way back in the day. Do you know a guy named Philip Odashi?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, well, he was my roommate in 243, and we deployed together to Saudi Arabia even way back then. So, doing the no-fly zone stuff, all that kind of stuff, and he was an actual Patriot guy. I was a Stinger guy, obviously. So I pulled all kinds of like roving patrol, guard duty, you name it, force protection world. I did it. I drove people around, did all that stuff, and it was really cool. But then 243 moved from Fort Polk, or 108th Brigade moved from Fort Polk to Fort Bliss. And then they added a battalion, first to the 2nd ADA, which was an Avenger battalion. So I got sent over there, and that's where I met a guy named Dustin Thorstad. Me and Dustin redeployed to Saudi Arabia again. When we came back, they said, hey, we can divvy out orders, whatever. Me and him went to Fort Bragg. At that point, we made that decision to go to 82nd. And I remember the reason why I did it, because I didn't know much about the 82nd at the time. I just know there were some good people there because I met him in the 09 and stuff like that. And I actually met Sergeant Major Adams when he was the 108 Sergeant Major at Fort Bliss, because he became the brigade Sergeant Major over there. So, all these good people were over there, so I really wanted to go there. But it was a Patriot guy that actually told me that. He goes, why aren't you going to go to the 3rd or the 4th? I'm like, well, what about them? He goes, that's the premier Stinger battalion in the Army. Like, if you don't go there, like, what's the point? I'm like, that's a good point. So me and Dustin, a couple other guys, we went over to Fort Bragg soon after that. That was like in 97, I want to say. And then in 97 is when I got there. Met my next platoon sergeant I've ever had was Sergeant First Class Frank Robinson at the time. And he, you know what I'm talking about. And he is the one who got me to the board, and that's where I became a sergeant, is over at Fort Bragg.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So you went to the board and stuff at third of the fourth.
Correct.
Oh, that's great. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So tell me about showing up at third of the fourth. Do you remember going to the cherry farm and
Oh,
shipping
yeah.
out on Thursdays and showing up
Yeah.
at your unit?
Oh, yeah. You go to replacement, or the cherry farm, as they call it. And I remember we were sitting there and we were having a formation. It was the day we were shipping out to units and stuff, And I remember because people came by from third to the fourth, and I don't remember exactly who, but you could tell it was them. The audacity everywhere and everything, and they're just like sniffing you, like, is this guy cool? Is this guy good? Is he good? Does he need to go to Delta? Can he stay in Charlie? Whatever, blah blah blah. And so they came, they picked me up, took me over to Charlie Battery, and luckily, and I thank God I was in the 509th before this, because I wasn't just like I had a lot of jumps by then. I had done a lot of stuff, so a little bit more seasoned, that kind of stuff, and I kind of fit a little bit better in. But it was. Do you remember First Sergeant Walker?
I do. I do.
Yeah, he was our first sergeant at the time, and he was awesome. You know what I mean? Like he was really, he was all about a real quiet kind of individual. You know what I mean? At work and stuff, real laid back, and man, he let them sergeants run the show. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't in the backdrop. He was just making sure, he did the right way, and we had a really really good time there, really good unit, and it was great, So, and after I went to the board, I became a sergeant, stayed in the same platoon. I was in the third herd pretty much the entire time. So,
Tell me about those days and those times. I can't help but want to reminisce with you about the folks and the people that were there, Gray and
oh,
Robinson and Harris and Bivens and
oh man,
I mean, there's just so many just names that just start flooding. Woodley.
oh God, yeah. I mean, you are like there is like there's so many names out there. You got me off thinking now. There's like 100 names that a lot of us all know.
Oh
And
yeah.
when I got there, there was a couple guys. You remember, Schemmel and Tyler and all those guys,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were the first. I had a lot of respect for those guys because they were sergeants. They were, mean as snakes, but squared away. And I didn't know this, but they were the first corporal jump masters I think third or fourth had in a long time. And that's an awesome thing to think about. They had to go up all the way through brigade to get approval to go to Jumpmaster school as a newly minted corporal or whatever. And I respect that. I mean, that's awesome. But those are the kinds of guys you had to be peers with. And it's hard to be peers with people like that because they're that good, and so, it makes you try harder, makes you be better, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I really, that was pretty cool. The whole third of the fourth experience is more than just being in a unit that's airborne. Everybody was awesome. When I got there as an E4, we had like McWhorter, those guys that were coming in, just grab you by the scruff of the neck. Hey, this is how it's going to be, brother. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Now go jump out that airplane, or go do this, or go do that. And you're like, Roger, that's order. So it was, but everything else in the 82nd Airborne Division, everybody does it, and so that's what that cohesiveness that we talk about, division, all that stuff. That's what it is, And I never had to do anything that a single one of those people out there didn't do before me a billion times or whatever. So I was very, very, I felt very fortunate to be in there. Even though I wasn't there like Rob was for like 90 years.
Rob was born in the unit.
Yeah. I mean, they couldn't find Rob's retirement paperwork because it was in the Vulcan that used to be out front. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. God love him. But there was other guys too. Like, there was Conrad Holke. He was in third Herb with me. He was an awesome sergeant to have. Like, he was way more experienced than I was when I was a young sergeant. He just mentored me, like how to deal with stuff, how to do this, how to do that. You ever been through ORS? And anybody's been in the 82nd knows what ORS is. People get fired over that stuff. And here's Conrad telling me how to get through it. I mean? I'm like, all right, cool. But there's guys like Simpson. Just great soldiers. That's where I met Harris. Master Sergeant Dennis retired Harris now. That's where I met him at. We had some really good junior soldier all the way through seniors. Our officers were even great. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of a better group of people to be around, to be quite honest with you.
Oh yeah. Harris is watching this. He says facts. Hey, something's happened. Something's happened with your audio. I don't know. Something happened.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, way better. I don't know what happened.
Awesome.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
All right.
What? Talk to me about what was the next step after third of the fourth. But before we get there, I want to know I want to talk about Jumpmaster school and that kind of stuff. How long did you stay in battalion? What did you do? What's the next story to tell through that?
Well, so I was I was a traveling wheelbarrow because I wanted to go experience a lot of different units. So after third of the fourth, I went over to Hawaii, and then like they call Hawaii the 82nd Airborne Retirement Home. I'm telling you, at least in 16288, there was all kinds of airborne guys over there. Harris was over there again. But just all kinds of people from there. 101st, and it was actually a really good unit. It was probably my second favorite unit in terms of overall, just people that were there. And the reason why I say that is because, in Hawaii, we all went to aerosol school there. That's where we all went to do light fighter courses, all that stuff out on East Range. We had guys like First Sergeant Clem, or I'm sorry, he was my first sergeant in Hawaii. He was a, air defense NCO, blah, 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 great NCO to be there. I had I had all kind of Mulligan, Enoch, all these guys were there, and it was really cool to be around. I did miss jumping. I did miss that kind of atmosphere, but in order to grow in the military overall, you have to kind of go out and experience a little bit more of it than just one or two locations, and I went to a lot of places when I was there. I did Orient Shield in Japan, did some stuff over in other Eastern places, so that's like where you gather that experience, that you pass on later to other people, to other soldiers and fellow sergeants whenever you get around them. They don't have that same kind of experience.
So tell me just a minute, if you don't mind, about family. Who is it that prays for you at night? When they lay their head
Oh,
down.
well, I got you have that little picture posted up on the ad for this or whatever. That was my uh, wife and my daughter. And so I've been married to Rebecca for about 27 years now. And my daughter, she just she graduated with her master's from Auburn University. She works down in Huntsville. Just got herself a nice little gig down there, doing very well for herself. So you know I got and up here is like a lot of her family is from Lake of the Ozarks. That's why I'm here. I don't really like have any family myself here, but my wife does. This is where her family's
That's awesome. I've prepared a video, like a
from.
slideshow. You mind we watch it?
No, go ahead, sir. You do what you
Let's
got to
do it.
do.
Let's do it.
Oh my God.
Violet as a color crayon. We were running through the fields, you had flowers in your hand. We were all chasing phantoms. Baby, you would hold them still and I grab on. Yeah, well, if you're scared of the dark, let the rundown street lights be your stars. And then picture swings in the park, and I'll swing with you. Sing it. Sing it with me. Sing it with me. And we'll go howling at the moon. It's no use living if you're already dead. It's not worth saying if it's already said. Even if it all goes over your head, believe it if you want to. So keep your eyes on the road and your head in the stars. Follow it down the rabbit hole just a little while longer. You can change anything if you want to. Sing it like ooh, if you want to. Sing it like ooh, if you want to.
Pretty cool right there.
The next time I turn around, you'll have grown into a woman in a single bound. I hope I never take you for granted. Spending time with you is all that I wanted. But I'll go back to when you were small, burning all our favorite records on a CD-ROM. We were splitting headphones in a hammock to a soundtrack we could get lost.
Hey, I'm here with Gunther Lardizabal, first sergeant retired. Harris says lit. Harris says lit. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's me and LZ. We're chilling out, and Harris is with us, obviously. So thanks for hanging out. You guys were like won a big competition together as a team, right?
Yeah, like me and Harris. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Harris has like always been like in phenomenal shape. Like at the worst physical condition he's ever had, he would smoke the crap out of me at any given day. You know what I mean? He was a beast.
Right.
So in Hawaii, we used to do a lot of different competitions over there, like live fire to shoot live fire missiles and stuff. So one time, I remember this because we had to do PT tests, all this other stuff, whatever. But we had to do a foot march. It was only like a 6 mile foot march, and it was for time. We had to finish as a team. I can't remember how fast we ran it, but Harris was like packing a saw, plus ruck, full kit, all that stuff. I mean, we did that sucker like an hour, and I don't know. It was real fast, and we were like way ahead of everybody else. And so we bring that up a lot whenever we talk, sometimes or whatever, or especially back then. And I let me know this, but two guys out of the 82nd just kicked all your all's ass, that kind of stuff. And freaking they would just blah blah. It was hilarious, but it was also it just shows you like what kind of guy Harris was, though, because I mean that was all the time. He was like that all the time. It was like me and him were a team. Like I was a team chief. I ranked him, but that rank means absolutely nothing, really. I mean, it's team is team, man. And like he was my gunner at that point, and he freaking he more than held up his end of that bargain. Let me tell you. So yeah, you know what I mean. So it was, but we dominated that place a little bit. There was other great guys out there. But uh, I'm some guy named Bill Gill. I
Yeah,
remember. I remember Bill.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely, I remember him. But we were, uh, you know, again, I talk about all these people, and it's the Army's very generational, and but it's like many generations. Like you got all these junior soldiers, then you got E5s and staff sergeants, then you got blah blah blah, and and then them when they're junior, then them when they're a little bit more in charge and have some seasoning and stuff, and it's cool to watch that evolving of maturity, leadership, all that stuff, and some of these guys like Harris, uh, uh, they they represent like leadership qualities we saw in them when they were young, if you will, and we knew they would be great when they got more mature in the army and stuff like that. So like I remember Tony Bond. I don't know if you know Tony Bond or not, but he was a PFC at Fort Bragg, and I remember we were like out there teaching him how to march and all that stuff. Well, that dude, uh, he came in and he went to JROTC, I think, in high school, and he was marching soldiers left and right. And I was like, man, he's better than me, that kind of stuff. We knew he'd be great, that kind of stuff. And Harris just posted something about Juan Ferreira.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was our one of our platoon sergeants in Hawaii. Oh, well, I love that guy. He was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah,
We
yeah, oh,
just
yeah.
had so many, just so many names and faces and remembrances and
Mhm.
times of road marches and jumping out of airplanes and just shared sweat that we all did
Oh yeah.
together. Right? It was just amazing. Tell me about a little bit more about your childhood.
Oh,
Take me back to when you were a kid. Were you good in school? Did you concentrate on recess? What? No,
that's funny. That's a good way of calling somebody stupid.
that was me. I concentrated on recess. I was worried about recess activities.
I can't
Me
even
and my
spell
buddies.
recess, brother. No, but no, no. I was pretty smart, I guess. I mean, I think like most people that join the military, I was kind of unfocused, and I moved around a lot. Didn't have a whole lot of like long, steady friendships, because everybody was, whatever in the past, whatnot, and so I joined the army, and it kind of gelled everything together for me personally. Like this was a structured but tough and Spartan like lifestyle where you get what you earn, and people will either respect you or not depending on your actions on every day, and that's a very easy and also a very hard environment to live in. But as long as you are willing to make the step to earn respect on a daily basis, and I don't mean like yelling at people or whatever, you all know that, but I mean just by your daily actions, then you will go far in the military, and it's one thing my dad drilled into me when I was young was he goes, respect you can't buy it, you can only earn it, and uh, he learned that through war, through being in the Marine Corps forever, and hard knock stuff like we all have to learn, that kind of stuff. So that's where I like to think that I try to live like that my whole life. You can't do it all the time. You fail, you win, all that kind of stuff, but you try to be the best you can be, at all times, and you'll probably go pretty far. That's the way I look
If you had to like look back, and we're going to continue the story here in a minute, but just for a moment, can you think to your toughest day of your life?
at. Oh, well, I mean, oddly enough, you would think it would be something else, because we all have a lot of shared experiences out there, and there's some that are, worse than others. But probably one of the toughest ones I ever did was had to drop my daughter off in college. And I know that sounds weird, but it was just me, her, and my wife, going through all these stations everywhere. And when we put her, so to speak, in her dorm over in Auburn, like we were PCSing to Kansas, and that suddenly realization of how far away you're going to be from someone you've always had in your hip pocket for the most part, it was detrimental. Like I was like, oh my god, what the hell's going on here? Tears everywhere, all that kind of stuff. And but that's a moment that had a lot of blessings at the end of it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it for what it is, but at the same time, at that very moment, that was pretty hard. And I never thought it would be that hard, but there it is, brother. You know what I mean? It was.
Hey, I love
Yeah,
it. Thanks for
yeah,
sharing. Yeah,
yeah.
thanks for sharing. And War Eagle. I mean War
Oh,
Eagle,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah,
Golly, yeah.
yeah.
So what's your teams? What are your teams?
What do you mean by that, sir?
Like do you have a college football team you follow, or do you follow
Oh,
sports? You're pro, or do you have a team?
um, I don't really like follow college sports all that much. I mean, they're fun to watch. I watch the tournament, the basketball tournament, because I think it's the last like actual tournament of NCAA sports that exists. In terms of it's you either win or you don't, which I appreciate that kind of thing. But no one gets to vote on what bowl you're in, whatever. But football's cool. But right now, it's like I more watch like uh, fighting competitions, like more combat sport type stuff. It's pretty fun to me. One person against another, boxing, stuff like that. I still do all that, or still watch all that kind of stuff. To me, it's very interesting. But organized sports right now, to me, is not necessarily fun to watch because it's become more. I don't know, pretty convoluted. It's not a sport as much as it is a business anymore. Right?
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Totally, totally. What is it about seeing your daughter flourish what about that has helped you feel good?
Oh well, it's just it's like watching like anybody you've ever cared for, by especially like your children or whatever. You just want to see them be successful. Like it almost feels like you can't do anything for yourself until you know that they're good to go. You know what I mean? And like that's a pretty selfish attitude to take. I get that, but that's just how I looked at it. Like I want to make sure she's good first, and then I can go about taking care of myself or whatever. And but all that kind of stopped. That thought process kind of stopped when she graduated with her bachelor's at first. And I was just like, she's good. And she went out and she despite anything I ever did for or against her growing up, because you never know, she managed to make her way through all that, 4 years of school in a pretty hard program and, earn her way to that degree. So to me, that was like, that's really cool. I maybe something I did kind of instilled that in her, to help her out. And that's where she, drew some strength from or something like, hopefully, if not, she still got it and I'm so happy for her, so,
Yeah.
but, yeah, you know what I mean? But it just makes you feel like you've, contributed to something that was like successful, and might do some good in this world, that kind of thing. So,
Amen. 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 So tell me about the next step in the army. What happened after Hawaii? Where tell me about becoming a staff sergeant and a sergeant first class and becoming a platoon sergeant, that kind of thing.
well, so from Hawaii, went to JRTC, back to JRTC, I should say, to be an OC. Then did that. That was a great job. You learn a hell of a lot of stuff there. Let me tell you. Uh, you know, and met a lot of great people there, like Flannery, freaking McGee. Again, the names go on and on and
What
on. I
was your
mean,
call sign? Were you 3-5?
I was 2-5. I was Bravo 2-5.
2-5. Bravo
Yeah.
2-5.
Yeah. I was the Spartan because I was the only one that didn't have a movie projector and like 8 ways to heat an MRE in the back of my truck. so, like, so I was like, whatever, man. Yeah, I'm just living here. So,
Oh, look, we had some setups, didn't we?
oh, good God, man. I've
We
been in
had
some
some
people's trucks
setups.
that were like RVs. I was like, how the hell do you manage this? But it was great. I mean, why not?
Yeah, me and Dohan were trying to figure out how we were gonna make a air conditioner out of a cooler with ice, because we could get plenty of ice. And
Yeah.
so we made a cooler and a fan and a blower system, and put it up in those cabinets. We created a whole. It was crazy what we did, but we didn't have nothing else better to do. We either that or go fishing or get a divorce. That's
or something. I mean, oh, Dohan, man, he was crazy too, man.
right. We had Burnley. Burnley is the daggum post CSM for Fort Sill today.
I'm not surprised. I mean, like he was like one of the most professional people I ever met.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
So like, okay, more power to you, brother. If he had to take a vote to get there, I'd have voted for him.
Oh yeah. I told him a long time ago. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be the Sergeant Major of the world, man. You're because he'd
Yeah.
go home. He'd go home and drink a 12-pack of beer every night and be ready to go the next morning, man.
That's carbohydrates, brother. That's what they used to tell me.
It's carb loading. It's carb
Yeah,
loading. I thought it was, I don't, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. But look, they are amazing. What a wonderful family. What a wonderful family him and Victoria are, and I'm so proud of them. And I can't wait to have them on and
Oh yeah.
interview them. It'll be fun. I haven't asked him yet. I'm kind of waiting until he gets done. Like, do you remember Foley? You remember Sergeant Major Foley?
I do, but I never really had much interaction with that.
Yeah. He's the like the recruiting command CSM now. He's an air defense guy, and
That's the most powerful branch in the military, right there, bro.
oh yeah, right. Talk about some money. He's got access to throw some money around, man. If he wants to recruit some people. So what was it like for you becoming a platoon sergeant and such?
Oh, so actually, like I switched over to aviation after JRTC. Some of us did, and then I became a platoon sergeant after that. And I actually came back to Fort Bragg. I was in First Brigade, and I was a first sergeant there, or excuse me, a platoon sergeant there. And it was cool. I mean, it was I was a squad leader. We went to Iraq, and then I became the platoon sergeant while in Iraq. So and nothing bad or anything like that. It just somebody moved on, and I just took over, and that was a great rotation, great group of guys. I was in an MI company. I had like 6 Jumpmasters in my platoon, so I was God's gift to the MICO. And it was great. And like everybody was like, "Oh, where's all your people at?" I'm like, "Well, we're all doing Jumpmaster safety duties over here, so why don't you go find somebody else to go scrub the latrine or something like that?" And it was, it was pretty funny because I could get away with that. And my first sergeant then, like he's like, LZ, we have 10 Jumpmasters in our company. 6 are in your platoon. I'm like, yep. And I don't know what to tell you. That's how I was brought up. Everybody's got to be, doing their thing, and like, if you're not, you're probably not, there. So, they were, after a while, it was pretty funny, but coming up to sergeant was a major responsibility. Yeah.
All right, so let's not gloss over what you just said. There's a certain attitude that if you're going to be a leader in an airborne unit, that you're a Jumpmaster, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Oh, look, Harris caught it. Classic LZ right there. Yeah, classic LZ. Tell me about the attitude of, step up or step out, right? That was a LZ. I don't know if you use those words, but that was the mantra back up in those days. If you're going to be a leader, lead from the front, step up or step out, lead, follow, get the hell out of the way, because I'm going to go to the sound of the guns and do my job, right? And I'm not playing with the frou-frou stuff. You can worry about the frou-frou stuff some other time. We're going to go, kill people and break things.
Yep.
So tell me about that attitude. Where does that come from?
Well, it comes from first and foremost, it already existed. That's the way I look at it. Now it takes sometimes somebody to chisel it out of you. You know what I mean? And we just had a very definite way, like Dennis Harris just posted. We walk with a chip on our shoulder, right? I wasn't any better than any one of my soldiers at any level. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like I was okay, and I was good enough to do the job I was doing. But what made me better was having those soldiers, right? And those people that were made me better, all the time. At any level I was ever, that was the way it was. But you have to develop that. You have to, look inside that guy or whatever and say, you know, this is how life really is. You can take all that stuff you read in the leadership manual. You can take all that stuff that some guy wants to tell you about how to act or whatever. But if you really truly want to succeed and be a force, like a reckoning, like something, then you have to step up. And no one should have to tell you to step up. You just got to do it. And then you should expect no recognition for that either. Like, you just do it. And the reason you do it is because if that guy doesn't step up, then that's 2 or 3 people now that are going to suffer the consequences of something you didn't do or what you should have done in the first place. So you just kind of build it up. You kind of build up. So I always used to do it through like PT, hardship stuff. We turned VACR into a physical competition. You know what I mean? Like whatever it took to get guys to start thinking about that. When I was a platoon sergeant, like, we do litter PT, and I'd make him walk upstairs like 5 or 6 times with a litter with 200 pounds on it, go up on the roof, and then do a 9-line medevac call or something like that. And they're like, why are we doing this for PT? I'm like, dude, do you really think like the chopper is going to be 10 feet from you when it comes in? No. You have to carry some schlep like 100, kilometer, 2 kilometers, whatever. You got to be ready for that kind of stuff. And if you don't, and if you're not, the person on that litter is probably going to die or get hurt or do whatever, so you cannot fail in that kind of stuff, and I took that very seriously because you just have to, but I try to nip it at the bud. So when soldiers would come to me, the very first thing we would do, we're going out to Area J, brother, and we're going to go run. I'm going to see what you got in you, and then if you're good, you're good. But then we're going to come back and we're going to do like a couple thousand pull-ups. Or like Stout would say, the twister or whatever, and it didn't matter. All that mattered was this guy or was this person going to stick it out or not, and you can kind of get a gist of somebody in a couple of weeks, and after that, if they were good, friends for life, brother. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? You either stepped up or you terminated and moved on. That was one of the things about being in the 82nd Airborne Division. You always had the opportunity to terminate, and if that was the case, then out the door you went, and you found your new
some
team.
People forget that, yeah.
So we were, double volunteers and volunteered every day. I tell you what, $110 a month. That's a lot of money, dude.
Oh yeah, I paid off like 8 houses with that. No, man, like I look at it like I remember, talking about, airborne school and being airborne and all that stuff too. Cause I've been in a lot of different units. Not all of them were airborne, not all of them were that. And they're asking, well, what, you walk around like you're going to punch people in the face or kick a hole in the wall or whatever. I'm like, have I ever actually done that? They're like, well, we don't know. I'm like, well, no, I haven't done it here. They're like, am I going to like, but I tell you what, like, I'm looking at you people, and these are all junior soldiers. I'm looking at you like the first junior soldiers I ever had. Or I tried to be when I was one. And I'm like, and I don't know if you're cutting the mustard, man. Like, you guys want to cry about running 4 miles and blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, I never heard that kind of stuff out there, And, when I was a platoon sergeant at Fort Bragg, and then I went on to another unit, like the differences are staggering in terms of just individual soldiers being better. Like, I never had so many PT failures. When I went to, when I was in Cold Steel, I don't remember a single one. You know what I mean? I remember if you got below a 280, your friends started clowning you, not just the NCOs. You know what I mean? They were like, what are you doing? That kind of stuff, and like, it was like, I don't know. It's a whole mentality kind of thing. And it is a true statement. And yes, we're all bad for being back at braggers or whatever. But you know what? We're better than you. So shut the fuck up.
That's classic LZ right there. We're better than you. It doesn't matter. Oh, so I love it. I love it. What is it about aviation that you really liked?
Well, it was an entirely different thing. I mean, their branch is entirely modeled more after the pursuit of tech and support of a aircraft than it was like war fighting at every soldier level. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong; they weren't bad soldiers. Nothing like I'm not saying that. It's just their focus was different. It was like getting the aircraft up. Their weapon wasn't an M4 or a Stinger missile; it was an AH-64 or whatever, and you had to get that ready to go. Uh, so they spend a lot of time doing that, and I got a lot of respect for that because there's a lot of hours that go into making one aircraft fly 1 hour. And I did not know all that before coming. But on the flip side of it all, when you take an old crusty bastard like any one of us, and you stick us in an environment where everybody's worried about, is that computer program running correctly or whatever, it boggles my mind for having like, what's the matter with this guy? Why is he not doing this? Blah blah blah. And then I had a sergeant major. He came over and he just was like giving me the aviation mentorship. He's like, LZ, we don't always act like that around here. This is how we're going to focus on this particular time. I'm like, you might have to guide me a little bit there, because I'm a little certain way. He goes, I got it, it's fine. He's all calm and cool and collected and stuff, and then. But I'll put it to you like this: when I got to the aviation brigade, they sent me to the cavalry, because my brigade sergeant major's like, you know what? I'm definitely not going to put you anywhere near any of these other battalions, man. I'm going to send you over to that one. So I got to wear the funny hat, which is really turned out to be the coolest thing ever in terms of like a unit I could have gone to. I really liked being in there, and it was. But those people are nuts too. They're just like the 82nd in a lot of ways, So I got along.
Oh, you got me laughing here. I could just see you, man. I could just, because your aura just goes in front of you. Like, I'm hard as woodpecker lips. I'm hard as woodpecker lips. I'm hard as woodpecker lips. Everywhere you go, it's just like an aura. So I could just see the sergeant major just trying to get out of the way when you got there.
No, I had really great sergeant majors over there. These guys were pretty tight. Don't get me wrong, but they just kind of, they kind of what do they call it? Talent manage me to make sure I was in a place where I didn't hurt too many people, I guess. Yeah.
Oh my God! So Harris talks about getting 380 on the extended scale. Golly, man! Woo! Yeah. Says he's still out here getting it. And,
I'm gonna if Harris ever passes away, God forbid, I'm gonna bury him with a pair of running shoes and a bench press. And
I love it.
That'll be some push-up bars or something. I don't know. That freaking dude's he's a beast.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Shared those tough times, those road march miles together, the time where you carried the Stinger, the time where y'all packed the load, the time where you exited the aircraft, those shared difficult experiences, bring us together, right?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, man, nothing builds friendships better than contention, right? Like, shared strife is always a thing, and I admit it's probably a little sadistic a little bit, maybe, I don't know, but I admit looking forward to that kind of stuff. I don't know if it was like necessarily like the best attitude to have, because you got to watch out, because if you go too far, then you got to carry other people with you, but it got to the point that at one point I was just like, what are we going to do today? And then we jumped into Sicily, walked back to Charlie Battery Headquarters CP and stuff. And, people were singing, having a great time. Because it wasn't tactical or nothing. We were just marching, laughing, having a great time, And I was just like, what kind of sick people go through an 18-hour sequence, jump out of an airplane like 1 a.m, walk 20 kilometers back to the CP down Long Street, and just, at the end of it, just sit there and bullshit and have fun. That's like nothing happened. I went swimming the next day. Like it was like great. So
also remember how young we were, right? Looking back on it, I mean, crazy how young we were, thinking we were old. Like, oh my God, I'm 27 years old. Oh
yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, I feel it now. I mean, I can't lie to you.
What do you feel now? Do you have any of those? Do you have any old injuries or anything?
Just like your typical stuff. Like luckily I got out of without breaking too much stuff. You know what I mean? But shoulder injury from before. had a back thing going on, stuff like that. But like nothing that's really debilitating. A lot of people got off far worse than I ever had. So I knock on wood a lot. Uh, it just I look at people. What really gets me though is like, I'm here in the civilian world now. I'm working, doing all this stuff, and I look around at the people that are my age here now, and I'm glad I was in the army for such a long time, and I'm glad I did the things that I did because I'm not like in the best of shape right now. Like I don't go out and run all the time and stuff like that. I still work out, I still do stuff, but I'm not like in it every day like I used to be. But there's a difference between the people that were in, the people that were the guy here, and he was in the army for like 25 years, whatever. He's like 60 years old, retired like 10 years ago. Dude's in better shape than half the people out here, and it's a telling thing, and I really appreciate the fact that all that time spent is time that like it's put some life in you still, and you're still doing still do pretty well, I still walk upstairs on my own, so I'm pretty happy.
What are your hobbies? What do you do for a hobby?
Oh man, I do. You know what? I don't know. There's a company out there called GoRuck, and they have these backpacks and use events and stuff, and it's like just different workouts and stuff. So I go hiking and tracking everywhere. There's all kinds of trails and stuff out here. I do that. I work in the marina industry now, so I do like I'm always on boats all day, every day. Doing driving them back and forth and stuff like that, which is real fun. I still like I just like hanging out with my family though. I like we hang out at the house, watch movies, typical reading stuff like that. It's I'm looking for a new hobby. I just haven't decided which one I want to do yet. Do I want to go fishing every day? I don't know. Maybe I'll ease into it. I have no idea. It's one of those things where you did one thing for so long, you got to go out and like research different ones to find out exactly which one is
Yeah.
you're gonna fall into.
So tell me about becoming a first sergeant.
Oh yeah, that was well. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. I was went to Fort Riley, Kansas. It was that's right after my daughter was going to school. We went to Fort Riley, and they put me in the 1/6 Cavalry, which is aviation scout time. It was OH-58s at the time, and they go there. I was an ops sergeant for a little bit, but after a while, they made me a first sergeant, and it was really cool. I'd never been in the cab before, never did anything like that before, so I didn't know what it was all about necessarily. I was a little older at the time. I was like 40 something years old. I was already kind of old when I joined the army anyway. And so they do what they call a spur ride. I don't know if you've ever heard of such a thing. I'm sure you have. And so I went and did the spur ride to get my silver spurs. 3 days of pure hell. We walked like, I don't know, 40 some miles, did skills out the ass and everything like that. So at the end of it, I'm getting my spurs and everything. I did not realize I was the oldest person to ever earn spurs in 1/6 Cav in the last like 10 years or whatever. So I was pretty impressive for myself. I felt my ego played a little bit. I was like, what am I?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, right. But I mean, it was cool though. It was really, really eye-opening experience for me, primarily because you see people from any MOS branch, whatever. Once you go to a cab unit, you all have that same opportunity to go to get your Stetson, get your spurs. So it's like being airborne a little bit in a way where everybody's got to do that, And so I appreciated that for what it was. And cavalry's they do hard things. That's what
Right.
they seek to do that, and the more difficult you can make it, the better, because it builds better soldiers and you're better able to get through tumultuous times, that kind of stuff. So I liked it there.
Amen. Amen. So how long did I saw you spent some time as the CSM also, or at least sitting in the seat?
Yeah. I was rated as a CSM. I spent a year in Fort Rucker. I did go to Fort Rucker. I was a NCO instructor, academy instructor there. And then after that, I made the 8 list there. and then I went to 114. Now I don't equate like I was a first sergeant there, but it's a very much different environment than having like a bunch of soldiers. It was like a trade-off environment. And it was mostly based around flight training. So I managed like the airfield, and I had a couple soldiers underneath me, but we weren't doing. It was all trade-off, what I mean, that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Just that's what it was. My sergeant major retired, and I was still frocked the first sergeant at the time, and they made me the sergeant major out there for about a year, give or take, and then learned a lot there doing that. We had some really good sergeant major out there that would took you under the wing, made sure I was tracking on all the things I needed to do because Fort Rucker being a trade post, very political post. One thing when I was an NCO Academy instructor is you realize everybody that in the world that's in the Army aviation community, non-commissioned officers, comes to your school to learn. So when they go back, that's your rep going back out to Germany, Japan, wherever. So you have to be good. It was the same thing with all these other things too. Like 114, which is where I was at as a sergeant major. It was they taught Apache and OH-58 platform training for pilots. Pretty cool.
Did you ever want to fly, or did you get a lot of time flying, or did you kind of stay on the ground in aviation?
Oh no, I was never like I did some like I flew like with rides and stuff. That was it. I never did. I'm not a crew chief, or I never did any of that kind of stuff. Those guys have to go through their own schools. They're different training and certifications and all that stuff. I just managed. Like that was basically really a managerial type position. And you're managing like you're helping manage like classes, but through trade-off. So you have to do all this up and down and stuff. But you're also managing personnel flow, classroom. You got to do taskings, all this other stuff. Your typical stuff. And you have, I got there. There's a guy named Chiro. He was the battalion commander out there. He was a ranger. He jumped into Panama in the Ranger Regiment. He was an 82nd veteran, Ranger veteran, Ranger qualified, all this other stuff. Blah blah blah. And when I went over there to interview, he goes, "Hey, bring in the next guy." So I walk in there. He goes, "You're a Jumpmaster?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, I am." He goes, "All right." And then I was hired on the spot. He put me in the free. I'm dead set serious. He goes, "You have a seat. You're going to talk about what I need to happen." I'm like, "All right." And we went about it, made it happen, and like it was pretty cool.
There's a certain credibility that comes with Jumpmaster wings that don't go the same way with about anything else. Jumpmaster is a unique badge and a unique qualification. Ranger is similar. But Jumpmaster even more so because of the technical requirements. It requires you to also be smart,
Yes, and some people can't to explain it, but because I equate it to it's a tough school, yeah, but you can be as tough as nails, go through JMPI and still fail, and this is the one school I've ever been to, I've ever seen, where no one really looks down on you for failing.
Right.
And, and that is a hard school, man. I'm a 3-time guy myself, that kind of stuff. And like, it's a difficult school, man, but with good reason, because you're about to throw somebody out of an airplane.
Right.
You want to make sure their equipment's working, or whatever, the aircraft's working. But, it's just, and, people go there and they think it's going to be easy or something. And then you spend that first hour in the circle, and you're looking, and even if you're the Hollywood guy, you're just looking over at the other guy struggling. You're like, oh, Jesus. And then, because you're next,
Oh, yeah.
And, but that's how, it's road, right? I'm sure that that's what I liked about it, and, the one thing about being a Jumpmaster wasn't always, everyone was always like, well, soldiers and non-airborne units always ask me that. First, I think I jumped into combat. I'm like, no, that is a gold star mustard stain inside of your wing. This one's on top, and blah blah blah. They're like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, no, these are Jumpmaster names, and this is what I did. So I show them a video. And I'm trying to get these guys to go here. It's cool. Yeah, go re-enlist for the 82nd. Make it you know, and they're like, oh yeah. But you know, they you know, there's all these grandiose ideas. What it is, it's taking soldiers from one place to another, safely, and making sure they can fight on the ground, and making sure that they're good to go. You know, and that's it. But you just have to have treatment to do that. You know, and like so, it's worth it. Yeah.
Something. Tell me about how your career, you know, ended. What happened that you decided to retire or get out?
Oh, well, I was gonna. So, like, rules change all the time for promotions, right? I joined in 18 March 1992. Was my basic active service. When it came time for me to go up to be looked at, they changed the rules, and so my date fell out of dates you could be looked at for Sgt Major. So I was going to actually retire a little bit before. You know, I actually did but they were going. They started doing these rotational things in Europe, and so I went to Korea with the unit, and then came back and then retired. I told my team that, so it's no skin off my teeth. I enjoyed it thoroughly, but it was but that's why I ended up getting out. Number two is actually, you know, I'm sure you've heard this. You probably went through it yourself. But there's just, you know, when it's kind of time to
Yeah,
hang it
yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
Something's up with our sound again. I don't know if your fingers on a microphone or something.
Oh, maybe. I'm sorry.
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
way better, way better.
Okay. But yeah, it was just time, you know, and you know, I have no regrets about it whatsoever. It was, I gotta focus on other things other than, you know, the military all the time, you know. So it was cool.
I hear you. I hear you. So there you are, working on the water, enjoying life, looking for a new hobby. You got empty nest syndrome going.
Yeah.
So what, you know, what gets you excited to get up in the morning? You know, what is it?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, so I'm a pretty resilient dude. I'll be quite honest with you. You know, mentally speaking, anyway. You know, and like, I'm sure a lot of us are. You know, after all this time doing the things we've done. For me, like I'll get like you know, I'll think about stuff, whatever, for a hot minute, but then that's it. You know, because the same mentality I had when I was a junior soldier, like you still gotta get after it. Well, you still gotta get after it. Like there's no stopping. It doesn't matter. However, mind you, I'm not saying you gotta go be a millionaire. You don't gotta go out and run the world. You don't gotta go out and do anything crazy. All you gotta do is go out there and live. You know, you have a wife, you have a family, go be with them. You have, you know, whatever hobbies you like to go do them. Go have fun. Sure, you got to work a little bit, whatever. You know, you've been through harder stuff than what I'm going through now. This is not the hardest day of my life, you know, so everything will come to you as it comes, you know. And what gets me up in the morning is the fact that I have a beautiful wife and I have a beautiful child. I have friends. I have people like you that do stuff like this and make us all remember things that we probably forgot without talking about it, you know. And that's what it's all about, you know. Oddly enough, I think that a lot of us live for days like this where we can all sit around and talk about the stuff we did, but without even knowing it while we were doing it, you know. And that's how I look at it, you know. So I remember when I first saw you doing this, I was like, that's pretty cool, man. You know, that's good stuff right there, brother. You know, that's high speed right there.
Well, look, it came from the ability to do it in Maggot getting sick and just all the stories that we all have to tell, right? We're so close, all of us. You know, you talk about Thorstad and Schimmel and you and Harris and just, gosh, just so many. Poppy.
And no holes? Yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, gosh. just so many crazy guys that we had back then, and such wonderful teams.
Oh yeah.
General Holler is the
Yeah.
commander in Hawaii right now. He was our
Oh
battery
yeah.
commander.
Yep.
We were surrounded by legends. Walker was replaced by First Sergeant Stout. You
Yep.
know, we didn't even talk about Gray.
Gray was
Yeah, such great times. Just a
oh yeah.
wonderful unit, wonderful times. We've been making memories and trying to tell a story that would last a lifetime. It's so great to see Harris hanging out with us. Thank you, Harris. I really appreciate it, man.
Oh
It
yeah.
means a lot, right? And LZ, we've kind of told a timeless story. I wouldn't mind. I just want to share this video one more time, if you don't mind, and I just want to turn it down and let you talk us through it. Yeah, Bryant. Oh my gosh, Bryant. Where the hell is Bryant? Oh my gosh, that's the guy we need to see.
All right, that's my wife's daughter. That was at Fort Rucker promotion ceremony.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the first ceremony. That was in Iraq. That's my daughter doing pull-ups because she wanted to be airborne too. That was in Iraq. That's our dog Dusty. I think that's Fort Rucker. Fort Bragg. No, Fort Bragg. Gosh darn it. That's me and my friend Claude. We joined the Army together. That's Iraq. Another Iraq. That was Al-Assad, Iraq. Fort Rucker, Iraq. That was Iraq. Al-Assad. That was the one from before. That was also in Iraq on Halloween. That was at Fort Rucker. Yeah. That was one of our graduation ceremonies. That's a buddy of mine from Rutgers, Warrior Dash. That was also in Alabama. Some of the people in that picture were fellow instructors. That was us collecting stuff for the DAB. Yeah. That was the change of position ceremony between me and the incoming sergeant major. Me and my daughter. That's that other ceremony. That was at a charity event. That's Fort Riley, Kansas. Fort Riley, Kansas. Spending time with you is all that I wanted. But I'll go back to when you were small, burning all our favorite records. God, I am one ugly bastard. We were splitting headphones in a hammock.
You're a good-looking guy, man. You're a good-looking guy. Airborne. I'm here with LZ. Harris says he talked to Bryant the other day, and he lives in Rocky Mount. Yeah, tell Bryant we love him. We need to get Bryant on here. Harris, you got to get on here. We got to catch up. I tried to do some like Zoom room hangouts where we would come and hang out. It was kind of difficult to get the word out. It's like people didn't know. We might try that again. I don't really know. But the idea of this, all of it, LZ, is to try to get our stories told, before we get sick, before what happens to maggot, happens.
Yeah.
And so Joe Benson and I created a website, formerforce.com. We started doing these videos, and we made a coin and designed a coin, and I got a box and a thumb drive, a titanium thumb drive. I'm gonna take this interview and the slideshow that I've made for you, and I'm going to send you a coin in a box so that you can have it, and your relatives can fight over it, and you've told your story today, and the idea is that if nothing else, our story's been told. We've had a chance at least to tell our times and make our memories, and because the last thing I would want to happen is that another one of my soldiers pass away, like Sergeant Mason passed away, without, at least having the opportunity to get their stories told and to tell the story. So that's what it's about. And we're kind of working off the donations, and if you guys can help, formerforce.com. If you're watching this and you can help, go to formerforce.com. We donate via PayPal. It comes straight to us, and it's Joe and I, and we just put it back into the business. It costs money to stream. I've got a microphone, I got a headset, I got a camera, but it's valuable, right? To sit here with Harris and you and I, the three of us, and reminisce about the old times. And your daughter's gonna love this, right? Your daughter will be like, "Oh my gosh, my dad telling these stories," right? And so that's what we're doing. That's what it's about. And we covet your help. These are our donors right here. You can see some of the names there that are familiar. A lot of folks that have been on Heroes Live with me have donated. A lot of folks haven't, but I appreciate all of our donors. We really do, and look forward to doing more and more. And my gosh, it's been so much fun to hang out with you. We had a good time.
I had a great time, brother. I mean, I like talking to old friends, so it's no big deal with me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So we've told a few stories and made a few memories, and I really appreciate it. Let me give you the final word, and then you can sign out for us. How about that?
Okay. So one final word. And basically, it's really two, real quick. One, Sergeant Marshall, you may or may not remember this, and I was looking for it the other day. But me and you were playing a spades game, and you counseled me on not playing to win. And I still have that thing somewhere in my little archive in the garage. And it was the most funniest thing I've ever seen, because I played off so you could win a book, and you got mad. And you counseled me on that, and I still have that sucker, man, to this day. And I laugh about that one. I think we're at KFTC or something. I can't remember. But you're like, you playing to win, LZ. You told me that like all day. You come by my bunk and tell me, LZ, what do we do? We play to win. Sorry. I'll remember that one for the rest of my days.
Brainwashed, man. Brainwashed.
Right here.
Yeah. We all were, man. We all were.
Yeah. Play to win. But my final sign out is this, I guess. To anybody ever watching this video, especially those that either served with me, third or fourth, any one of my friends, whatever. Best of luck to you. I love all of you. I respect all of you. When you do retire, all I'm going to say is this. Do not get lazy. Go and do something. I don't care what it is, but find something to do, because you will find retirement for this first 6 months, if you don't do anything, the most dreadful thing on the planet. So go, and I don't care what it is. Just find something to do and go do it. You'll be better off for it, believe me. But other than that, I miss all of you. I wish I could express to you how much I miss being in the Army, being around my fellow Whoas and all that kind of stuff. But, Harris is sitting right about grooming. Any soldier I ever had groomed me as much as I helped groom them and shape them, So, and you don't find that kind of relationship everywhere or anywhere. So hold on to it, cherish it. Marshall, brother, I appreciate you doing this. I wish you understood how much I did. Without further ado or any more bullshit, you guys have a great one. And I will talk at you later. All right, brother?
I love you, man. Good night, man.
I love you too, brother. Good night, brother.